Right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Blast again here, and today we're gonna do a little bit of like a recap about what happened, since the last video, and I'm gonna talk about the hard dungeons, and that we just run with my guild and the people. You can join solo, or you can join with your guild mates if you are in an alliance. In the background there's gonna be like clips playing, me healing or me doing DPS. I'm still playing the Reaper, which is turned out to be a really fun class. Surprisingly, I do struggle in PvP a lot, but I have a fair amount of fun doing PvE, which is good for me because myself I'm usually playing PvE. In the background at the moment you can play, you can say me running normal dungeons by myself. So basically how you gear up your character for PvE is once you hit student 1, which is basically level 37, you wanna go up to gear score of 45 to do the normal dungeons. 45 is required if you do it with your guilds. I believe you can join even if you even if you're below 45, and they can just boost you through the dungeon. It's gonna drop you a gear level of 50. You can do this every single day. It's gonna drop you a lot of crafting material, a lot of PvE stones that you need to upgrade the gear, and 50 item level, 50 gear score level item pieces basically. So from all of these, doing doing the easy dungeons every day, you can easily get item level of 50, which is required for doing or queuing up for hard dungeons. So further down, let's just mention that the gear that you're gonna get from these dungeons, what I've been told from other players, is not worth upgrading, because once you get 50, you do the hard dungeons, you're gonna get 60 gear level pieces, and they are the ones that you possibly want to put some talismans, and you want to upgrade them to +3, just to make sure that you maximize your damage and healing or tanking, if it depends what you do. And just to also mention, the talismans, they do cost a lot of gold. So if you're one of the type of persons who's really good with money, you already have some advantage over me, because I basically burned up a couple hundreds of gold pretty quickly, which was annoying. But yeah, so you want to make sure that you only upgrade and you only put the talismans on the level 60 equipments, just to be on the bright side, so you don't have to farm gold to get the talismans on the other ones as well. PvP is different. You're not gonna see any PvP action in this video, unfortunately. It might come in a separate video if that's what you guys are interested about, but I already decided that I'm gonna level up a different character just to do PvP, because I feel like Reaper is not something that is that suits me for PvP. I'm not that sort of playstyle that suits me for PvP. So yeah, in the background, as you can see, this is one of the bosses in let me double check, it's in Nemo City. So it's a pretty fun instance. This was one of the first one that you ever done if you leveled up a character. It's not hard like some of the others. If you have to make like a difference between how hard the instances are, this is one of the easy ones. So you can just group up, easily join random people, and they will definitely be able to finish the dungeon with you. So just to clarify, what's a hard instance? At the moment, as the game progresses, it's only been released like for a week now, and as it progresses, there's 3 different levels of the dungeon. One is the normal one. There's 4. So one is a drill that the 3 dungeons have drill runs where you can practice it while you're leveling up. There's like a question and everything. The second one is the normal one, which is pretty easy. You just join people, you group up, you only need 45 item level to group, and then you're good to go. And then there's a hard one. The hard one is a bit more difficult, because there's like a couple of abilities that can easily one-shot you if you do not pay any attention to them. It just needs a little bit of practice. You get 50, you join in, you do some practice runs, and on the next one you can make sure that you maximize your DPS or healing output, and you're just gonna have to get used to it, you know. What I mean, because then it's gonna be like pretty easy once you have everything in your muscle memory and you know what to do and you figured out all what your class can do and stuff. And then there's people I know that they do hard dungeons for time limit, so they like trying to like defeat the time limit of other people to make sure that they are the first one in the server running as the best time. And there's gonna be a next whatever you wanna call it, like it's gonna be called extreme. So after hard there's gonna be extreme, which is a different level. I believe it's called extreme, yeah. And they are gonna be really difficult. So far what I've heard, I'm not exactly sure because this is my first time ever playing this game, but on the Chinese server I watched videos and people were struggling to do the extreme levels, so that's gonna require a higher amount of gear. I believe it's either 60 or 65, and then it's gonna drop 70 if I'm not mistaken, and it's gonna be pretty hard to do so, and you have to pay a lot of attention. You're gonna have a lot of wipes, but hey, this is what we play this game for, isn't it? So yeah, so first we so far only have the hard and the normal dungeons released, so we're still waiting for the extreme to come out, which I'm not sure exactly when it's gonna happen, but by then you just have to run the hard dungeons. You can do that weekly, so they reset on every Thursday. In my time zone, I live in England, so in this time zone it reset at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning every Thursday. And then so yeah, once it's reset you can run it again, then you can get your 60 piece of equipment. How the way it works with the equipment and the drops. So first, let's say if you have all the equipment which is level 50, but you got one which is 45, the game is gonna make sure that it's not gonna drop you any duplicates until you got every single 50 equipment in every slot. So let's say you have 14 50 ones and then 145. The game's gonna make sure that the 45 you can change it to 50. So either it's a ring or a bracer or a headpiece or anything like that. It's gonna make sure that you have a 51 in that slot, which is I feel like it's quite smart because it's really alt friendly. So if you decide that you want to play a different character, you know, you can just join in, do the daily dungeons, and basically in 2 days you can gear up your character, which is, I believe, is the way that it should be in every other MMOs as well. And then after that, you have so you basically level up your character, and then the way it works with the hard dungeons as well, you can level up your character. You can gear up your character with 60 piece of gear. And then it makes it easier, you know, to make sure that you have a better gear. Once the extreme dungeons come out, then you can do that. And then we have the secret bosses, which you've just seen climbing down. That was the one of the secret bosses in the river dungeon, I believe. And here you're gonna see another one in Frostbitten Path. Sorry, it's not Frostbitten Path, it's a different dungeon. Sorry, I'm mixing them up, I believe. So this is one of the secret bosses. The secret bosses, they can drop recipes and materials and statues. I do have one statue in my house and I forgot to record it. I do apologize. I'll make sure that I'm gonna put that in the next video. They are really nice, like statues. That the game has like a housing system. Then you can build your house and you can, you know, design however the way you want it. And yeah, so basically you can put everything down, tables, beds. You just have to make sure that you gather the materials for every single day, and then you can just craft it. You can put it in your house. You can move it around however you want, and yeah, so you can customize it just like Sims. If you've ever played Sims and you know what it is, then it's the way to go, dude. What else worth mentioning? So yeah, these secret bosses, we have skipped a lot of the secret bosses because they are, to be honest, I'm not sure why, but they are harder than any hard bosses in the dungeon. They are definitely beatable. It's just they take a bit more concentration and a bit more time because some people have to adjust themselves to, you know, that like it does a lot of damage and you have to survive. You have to dodge like every single ability. The hardest one that I've seen so far was the previous one that you'd seen in the video, the spider boss. So what it does, it basically stacks a poison upon every people if you get hit by an ability. The tongue gets the abilities they got hit by an ability, so they are constantly stacking poisons. And then once you reach 10 stack, it's gonna start falling off from you, and you will apply poison in the area in like a small circles for 10 seconds, I believe. So you have to run around. You have to make sure that you place it nicely. You can avoid this by if the healer they dispel the stacks from you before you hit 10. In that way you can manage the space, and the boss sometimes jumps out to the person being the furthest. It jumps out, she slams down, then turns into a direction, I believe it's the direction of the tank, and she spits out like a line of poison that's gonna stay on the ground until you defeat her. So you really have to manage the spacing, just to make sure that you don't run out of space and the DPS can DPS the boss without being in range of the poison and not gonna constantly stack on them. And also the boss spins around applying 2 stacks to everyone getting hit by it, so you can either just jump back or you get the 2 stack of poison, if you know what I mean. So one of the bosses are definitely harder than the others. It makes it fun because you have to like focus a lot. The hard bosses by themselves, I would say if you do 1 or 2 rounds, for 2 weeks you just practice them, or you do them even in normal just to make sure, because there's like 1 or 2 mechanics that will come in play in hard dungeons, so you don't have to struggle a lot if you just practice a little bit. It's definitely harder to play a melee DPS in this game, and that's why I would feel like bards, summoners, and spell swords, the ranged classes, they do tons of damage. They do a huge amount of damage. Maybe not the summoner, but the bard and spell sword, they've proven so far that they do a lot of damage. As you can see on the screen, the bards are the yellowish ones, and they are topping the charts in most of the scenarios. The Reaper, the class that I'm playing, people complaining a lot that it doesn't do enough damage, but I can assure you, if you know how to use the abilities and what they do, and how to set up the damage window, that 15-second damage window that you can do all your damage. So basically the way the Reaper works, just so a recap, it's not a guide, guys, I just want to mention it because people complain a lot that Reaper doesn't do enough damage. So the way it works, you have a couple abilities that you have to combo together to set up a 15-second time window to make sure that you do all the damage by so there's 2 different playstyles. The one that I run, the one that I'm talking about, is the what were you gonna call it? I just call it bonk build, because you're constantly spamming war moon to bonk the target, and just do high amount of numbers, like do huge amount of numbers, and then it can create pretty well. The stats that I'm running at the moment, I prefer mastery over haste or crit, so I'm trying to put myself all on mastery because for me it seems like it does a lot of damage. And so it works so far. If you want me, I can do like an exact Reaper guide to see how it works for me and how it works for you guys. But just to mention again, this is not for PvP. PvP is a little bit different. It's the same way of doing damage when you set up a time window, like a time frame that you can apply all the damage in between, and then so this is how Reaper works. We are like a burst character. If you ever played World of Warcraft, it's kind of similar to the Monk opening, the Windwalker Monk, or how it used to be in Battle for Azeroth. At least when you apply the touch of that, you put all the damage out that you can possibly do. You go through all the rotations, and then after that touch of that, procced for a huge amount of damage. So basically this is the same with the Reaper. you set up your dust. You know what? I let you guys decide. I'm not gonna go into details really, because this video should be about being talking about the hard dungeons, which are not that hard to be honest. But yeah, so just let me know in the comments, and if you guys want me to put out a Reaper guide how to do damage exactly, or if you guys interested, as you can see in the background, I do heal a lot as well when my team needs a healer. So if you guys want to see me do a healing guide or a DPS guide, feel free to put that down in the comment section, and I will see what I can do for you to make sure that we, you know, Reapers stick together and we do all the amount of damage that is meant to be done. So yeah, so basically this video is about, in the background that you can see, doing the hard dungeons, which resets every Thursday, and you can level up from the gear that it drops. And if you want to play an alt character, the only thing you have to do is just to level it up to student 1 and then run you know, the normals and hard dungeons. I believe it's the best to do it right now, because maybe if you feel like you wanna reroll later on in the game, at the moment there's not a lot that has to be done to catch up to your main character. It's just a little bit of time consuming, you know, with all the questing and yeah, the killing mobs, you know, do the quest. If a player like really addicted to the game, they can level up a character in 1 day, preferably. I've not tried it myself. It took me like 2 days, because I've already mentioned in previous videos I started playing the game later, but I feel like as my gear level at the moment is 57, which is not bad, because the maximum that you can get is 60, and I've not run one of my dungeons for the week yet, so I will possibly talking about level 58, gear score 58, and I feel like I'm gonna hit that 60 cap next week, so it might be a time to start leveling up a new character as well, just to make sure if I want to drop my Reaper into something else, or if my guilds need something else, you know, I can provide that. Yeah, I'm possibly looking at the Spellsword or the Spearmaster, because they are the one who, they are really fun to play. Spellsword, it has 2 different DPS modes, one is a ranged and one is a melee, which is quite fun, I would say. So I love swords, so that class is definitely for me. And the other one is the Spearmaster, which everyone calls the dumb class, because they don't really have to look out for how they do damage, because they're gonna do damage either way. In arena they can one-shot a person pretty easily if you know how to press the right keys, and in PvE Spearmasters are great tanks. They are really tough. It's really hard to kill them. And then when it comes to DPS, it can provide a lot of DPS. I'm not sure about, I've not played it before, but as far as I can tell, it's good on single target, and it can provide pretty much a good AoE clear as well, if you know the team requires that. How we normally do the hard dungeons, we pull all the mobs together, then we DPS it down, we do the boss, and then the same thing. So far it seems like it's working. So if you're gonna wanna go for like a speed clear, you'll definitely have to think about ways how to pull the boss and everything together with the mob packs, you know, because it's definitely possible to kill everything at the same time, and it feels like you're saving a lot of time. And I will try to do it myself if I find the right people to do it. At the moment I joined an alliance, so we are not really tryharding or anything, don't get me wrong, we just try to enjoy the game. They are really fun people. If you want to check out my character in the game, it's called Blastful, as you can see on the upper left corner at the moment. You can yeah, like, feel free to message me anytime. I'm playing on the European server 1, and feel free to get in touch with me, put a sticker on my character. I do appreciate them, guys. And yeah, so I believe I see you in the game, and have fun, guys. If any questions, just leave a comment, and I will try my best to answer it. And if you guys want to see me doing a Reaper DPS or healing guide, just also put that in the comment section, and I will make sure that one of my next videos will provide all the information that it's needed. Alright guys, see you in the next one. Peace.